wrestling fans, and more importantly, Deep South wrestling fans on a special edition Strong Style. I'm welcoming in my guest at this time from Deep South Wrestling. He is Marty Buccafusco. How are you, Marty?
Nailed it, Jeremy. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is a special treat for me. New surprises keep happening for us at Deep South, especially for me, being being new to this industry. So here's another cool surprise. So yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm happy to be here and chat with you even more than we usually do.
Yeah, absolutely. We have gotten a chance to chat a little bit, especially here lately, which
Hmm.
has been fun. And before we get into, because you guys have two incredible shows, one this weekend, one next weekend, and then
Yeah.
obviously the awards on the backside of that. Um, you brought it up right there. You are relatively new to this industry. First off, how did you get into this industry?
That started, I mean, I've been a fan my entire life essentially, back from, childhood. But it wasn't until I had spent a long time living in New York, and when I moved down to Atlanta in 2016, um, it's where I decided, like, Atlanta must be the home of some pretty good independent wrestling. Like, there's got to be good indie wrestling down here. And in New York, it was just hard to find because it was going to be way outside and far in the outer boroughs. And I didn't have a car, so like there's no way I was going to get to it. So there was a point where I got down here and I said, "There's got to be an indie scene." And I started looking around and found AWE, and like got to know their shows and got to know the guys around there. And then COVID happened, and that sort of obviously had an effect on all the promotions. Just when I was getting like really amped and a big part of like the indie scene, and then finally like when what's it 2023 2022, I think I saw a Deep South show right near my neighborhood, and I was like, and I just it was this. My oldest son was taking a karate class, and I just a real sweet guy was like one of the just the kids helping out in the karate, like one of the counselors. And I saw him at the show, and like this guy didn't seem like I never would have thought he was a wrestling fan, and I've certainly come to change that opinion about a lot of people. But like, I guess seeing that, something clicked in me. It's like, man, there are so many of us around, and you just don't know until you get to that show and you look around. It's like, oh, I know him, and oh, I know her. And what the, you're a wrestling fan? It's like, yeah, you're a wrestling fan? It's like, yes. And it's just it was just that little moment clicked for me. And I was like, we got to have more of this. We got to have more of it inside the perimeter, in downtown Atlanta. I know that like venues are hard to come by and everything's expensive. And I know that drawing, like big houses in Midtown, inside the perimeter is difficult. So like, but I want to help. I want to do something to help out. I've got time on my hands. I've got young kids. I've got, the ability to add something of value. I'm a producer, a director, an editor by trade. So like that's what I've been doing my entire life. And that's when I reached out to Deep South just on Instagram. I was like, hey, if there's any way I can help, let me know. And I'm sure, now that I run the Deep South Instagram, I see that there are lots of people who say, let me know. But like I kept on and kept on and kept on, and got invited to come to a show and meet everybody. And then it came down to like, all right, well, can you actually, Marty, can you find an actual venue for us to do it in Atlanta, in the perimeter, like on a regular basis? And that's where I sort of proved my value to the team. And then yeah, helping to put on the production side as well, like just like made me even more valuable. And so that was it. So sort of like, proving value to the company, and then eventually getting more and more responsibility, until I'm in a position of carrying a lot on my shoulders now. So that's it. That's the so long time fan, long like whole career in production, but this is in live event production as well. But this is the first time actually getting to be on the inside of the business.
Know the feeling. That's how you backdoor your way into being a reporter for indie wrestling in Georgia
Hmm.
as well. Is I was already doing sports media, and
Hmm.
Some friends of mine kept saying, "Hey, you should check out this Deep South show. You should check it out." Uh, one of which one of your commentators in Drewski, and he's
Hmm.
like, "Hey, Mister, I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm a big wrestling fanatic. How come you're not coming to the show?" And I was like, "Fine. When's the next show?" And they said
Hmm.
when the next show was, and so I randomly showed up. And after about the second or third one, I started taking notes because I wanted to talk about it on this show. And that turned into, well, I'm gonna start writing articles. And I started turning them in to you guys. And you guys were like, "Yeah, great. We're just gonna send them over to Georgia Wrestling History." What Georgia
Hmm.
Wrestling History? Well, then Larry and the powers that be over there get wind of it, and they're like, "Man, we really like your writing. That's cool. That's really great."
Hmm.
I always tell people that I try to turn a no and it's just a yes, and a no is just a yes for a different question. So I learned
Hmm.
that from Mike Rowe and all of his works and books. Mike Rowe, great. So I had some opportunities late last spring to really up a lot of the coverage I had with some other teams and things I was following. And then I got ghosted for like a month and a half. Never heard anything back. And it was their idea that I be more involved. It made no sense
Right.
whatsoever. I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm not hearing anything back. I still randomly run into them. They act like those conversations like they never ghosted me or anything. But I heard a no, and I got sitting around like you said. Well, I've got time. There's
Hmm.
shows around me when Deep South's not having a show. There's other shows around me. I should go to those and maybe cover those. And well, now I don't have time for those people that ghosted me anymore. Now that they do want my attention, and I'm constantly at shows, including Deep South shows, as much as possible. So it's weird how it works, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing because lifelong fan too.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I've seen this so many times in my career, whether it's been me on the asking end, like me on the cold call end,
Yeah.
or now that I'm older, like being on the end where I'm getting the cold call or the people coming up to me. It's like I gotta admit, like sometimes I just like, yes, I would love for you to help us out. And also I got so many other things I got to think about. Like
Hmm.
I'm probably gonna forget. And so that like check in again, it's fine. Like don't be discouraged. Like it's okay to be
Yep.
discouraged, but check in again anyway. Check in again anyway. Like a couple, like once it doesn't, it's not always gonna work, but like I bet the time that it does work, it'll be because you checked in a few extra times and
Yep.
they finally like that's just the timing clicked, right? The gears sort
Yep.
of fell into place, and that's how I got here, and man, it's been a wild ride. Every month has been since we started in doing the free for all shows in 2023, March 2023, I think it was. Like it's just been
Hmm.
incredible. It's learned so much, met awesome people. Have been felt like I've gotten uh, my lessons in the industry, like just hardcore, like by a fire hose in the past. I guess that's the way to put it in the past few years.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, let's talk about that. Since you said
Mhm.
about the free for all shows there,
Yeah.
the cheap pop, there'll probably be many more of these in this show.
Hmm.
Um, that's one of the like I tell everybody every show that I go to, whether I've been to it once or whether I go to it on a regular loop, is unique from every other show. And that's not a way of saying that one's better than the other. No, everybody does something a little different and a little better than the other ones do.
Hmm.
And one of the things that you guys do that is fascinating, and when Deep South Wrestling comes up in wrestling chats and talks and other groups that I've been a part of or just happen to overhear, other people notice this too, is that you guys are doing free wrestling shows, and yet you're not only being able to do them and produce and get all you're basically filling up whatever arena you are in, whether it's an open deck out on the green belt, whether it's the
Hmm.
Monday night garage. It's like, and it's not just, oh, it's a free wrestling show, they show up. No, no, no. They show up always. They're always supporting. They're always buying the shirt. They're supporting whatever venue you're at. It's
Hmm.
the type of audience that you're attracting is the polar opposite of what almost any other company would be trying to go after, and yet you guys welcome anybody in, and they're all coming in. Like,
Hmm.
was there just was that kind of the target goal, or did that just organically start happening? And you're like, we need to keep doing this.
It was it amazes me. Literally every month, I'm like, this is the month that everyone stops showing up. Up until like 20 minutes before showtime, I'm like, this is where it's just going to be our like 24 fans, and everyone else has definitely forgotten about us. But no, it's it started with like I said, at first I was like, I'm gonna find a location to have a wrestling show, and I live right near Das Barbecue, so like I had
Hmm.
driven past and I saw their patio, and I've now become like anywhere I drive in Atlanta, I look at it and I'm like, is that a good space for an outdoor wrestling show? But that was my first chance to see it and think like this is going to be, maybe we could do this. And so I just popped out of the car, went in and started talking to the manager, and they're one of the cashiers first, and he was just like, this sounds like a great idea of wrestling outside. So that was just like at first it was like I mean also like I'm not sure how the business worked at that point. Like I knew we had to rent some space, but like in the end, like but what it came from was this seed in my head was back, you know, especially, and I'm from Augusta, Georgia. That's where I grew up. I went to high school there. Went to college at the University of Georgia. So I'm born and raised in Georgia, and like especially like growing up in the Attitude Era, like everyone I knew had some experience watching wrestling. And then I get to New York, and suddenly like everyone's like, "Wait, you watch wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I watch. Yeah, okay." And so, but what I found was, what I started doing was like every WrestleMania, and now it's been like 15 years in a row. No, more than that. Jeez, I'm crow. It's maybe 20 years now. I've thrown a wrestling party for non-wrestling fans. It's a WrestleMania party basically for non-wrestling fans because I didn't know any wrestling fans in New
Right.
York, and I would invite people. I'd like, this is it's you're gonna have fun, just come. They're like, I've watched wrestling since blah blah blah, and I'm like, just come, I think you'll like it. And so, and I would plan like sort of activities or like sort of like drinking games around it, and guaranteed every single person that would come to these would just have a blast. And that became like a sign to me that just like, man, if you put wrestling in front of people, and you encourage, like, find a way to like
Hmm.
help them understand the storylines, the rest takes care of itself. Like if they know who's who and like what's good, like why they're fighting basically, and then
Hmm.
it just who's the heel, who's the face, or what's at stake here. The performers do the rest. And so when Das told us like, well, we can't really, we're not gonna be able to sell tickets here because like it's our restaurant and we're not gonna prevent people from coming into our restaurant, we were like, okay, that's fine. I think like if we're here on Memorial Drive outside and there's a wrestling ring, I guarantee you people will stop and just start showing up, and from there it's gonna be a blast. And so, sorry, this story is going on forever, but like, but the first show we did there, again, it's like 15 people showed up at first, and it's like, and the guy that runs the place was like, when we saw the crowd at the beginning of the show, we were like, we're never gonna, this is the last time this is
Yep.
happening. um by the end of the show, it was like 150 people were there or so, and then it just like took off. And so it's the I think it's the public nature of it. It helps a lot. I think it's the free nature of it, obviously, but also the dependency that we're going to be there next month, and the month after that, and the month after that. And so if you miss one, people every time someone's like, I missed this much show. It's like, don't worry, 20 days
We'll
we're
be
going to
back.
have another one. We might have another in 14 days, and
Yep.
who knows, there might even be two more between that. So like, having these shows consistently helps us just like keep this fan base and also earn new fans every month, it seems.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It goes back to the, I mean, without being too cliche, if you build it, they will come.
That's
You
exactly it.
build a show,
Yeah.
you put a ring in the middle of an open place, and
Hmm.
people, and we've seen it on that very open deck over there at New Realm. How many people are jogging or running by or riding a bike, and just you see that look, and they're looking over like, is that what are they doing over there? Before you know
Hmm.
it, 300 people on the deck turn into 850, and I'm surprised the fire marshal doesn't shut the entire deck down. But
Uh-huh.
you just look and you're like, how many people are actually out here? And every one of them are invested, and the storytelling and everything going on. You're just like, how do you get any better than this right now?
Yeah, and this is what I want the performers, the talent to work with. Like it's so special to
Hmm.
see the pop from these fans, especially when so many of them are new fans. We love to say like, you bet you didn't wake up today thinking you were going to be a wrestling fan by the time you went to bed. And it's a great thing. It's a great moment to realize that, but also just to see the guys poke their heads from around when they hear like, from behind the curtain, and they hear the noise out there. It's because it's just like no one's it's just it scratches an itch that so many people have, and reminds them of some memory.
Hmm.
Like everyone's got some connection to it. Everyone's got some memory of it. Everyone, watched it with their grandma, or did DX chops in high school, or grew up with John Cena, and knows the Undertaker and these things, that like when they see these guys, and now these guys are like 10 feet from them, giving them
Yep.
high fives, like signing whatever they want to sign.
Hmm.
And it's just totally accessible, and such a different world. Then it's I know, talking today, and I'm curious about like what you think about this.
Hmm.
Um, we were talking about, but Fred and I were talking about like athletes, like professional athletes for baseball, basketball, stuff like that. And we were talking about like Make-A-Wish Foundation, stuff like that. Like why is wrestling so good at connecting with fans who in personal ways, right? Like Shohei Ohtani is not connecting with fans in
Right.
personal ways. He's freaking amazing.
Oh yeah.
Tom Brady's not connecting with fans in personal ways. Like, what is the difference? Like, what do you think is the difference between professional wrestlers and then, your other athletes that just seem like they're, on another plane from us?
I honestly think it's real simple because I thought that's where you're going with this question. Every other, pretty much every other sport is about scoring points, winning the game, what you do on the field, as far as getting a result. Where
Hmm.
professional wrestling is about those interactions and those you need the crowd to make what you do work. So it's more ingrained into I need to make sure they're having a good time, whether they like me or whether they don't. Because if they're
Hmm.
not having a good time, I'm not doing my job. And so I think that's why that connection's so good. That's why a John Cena can do 1,000 make a wishes or whatever, because basically his entire life he's been making those connections. Just instead of one small child today, it's 10,000 people in Madison Square Garden. So I think that's what it
Hmm.
is that wrestlers are more in tune with trying to play off the crowd and trying to do what the audience is wanting to see. Where, Otani's great, but Otani's trying to put the ball over the fence or he's trying to strike you out. He's not real concerned about what the kid in row A, seat 3 in section 116 is thinking right now. He's trying to win the game, where the wrestler is trying to make sure you have a good time.
Yep, there you go. I think so. That they've got this other focus, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit of a shame. Like they could, they get, yeah, winning a World Series, great. Like I'm sure you get even more money than you already have. But like,
Sure. They could
man,
be better at what they do. Yes.
yeah. But the connecting with the fans, like, and that's seeing it from my perspective now. Um, Being, behind the camera or backstage, or I mean, I don't want to be backstage. I want to be right there outside,
Mm-hmm.
on the floor, but just seeing the kids light up when they get a high five, seeing them scared by the brute heel. And then when, they turn their back, the kid's like, like
Yep.
it's empowering for everyone. And these are things that like I didn't know about wrestling. As much as I studied wrestling, as much as I
Mm-hmm.
consumed it and read, people writing about it, I read reviews of everything, I watched everything I could for my entire life. It wasn't until I was there in front of a crowd, like that had a ton of electricity and a ton of connection with the performers, that I realized like this is this is a huge deal. This is a huge like way to connect with people and bring them something that like they're not getting from other media at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything else is just an ad to buy something else, or like a demonstration of someone's, like you said, like ability to hit a ball over a fence. And this is
Yep.
purely to entertain every single butt in that seat, whether they want to like you or not. I think that you nailed it, Jeremy. Like that is exactly it.
Absolutely. And we're here with Deep South on Marty Buccafusco.
Nailed
I'm having
it.
to slow it down. I'm having to slow it down. It's late at night.
Hmm.
Um, you guys have a monster show at the Monday Night Garage this Sunday, 2 p.m. bell time, I believe, unless that has changed.
Nope.
First off, that venue is unreal. I went to one of your talents, Hunter James. I went to one of his book signings. You were at the same one,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I was showing it to the other wrestlers that were there at said book signing, the ones that have not seen that venue, and I just showed them screenshots of you guys wrestling there, and they were popping over that venue.
Really.
Just
Hmm.
for people who haven't seen it, how would you describe that particular venue as a wrestling venue?
It is both cavernous and intimate in all the ways you want a wrestling venue to be, right? So it's going to reflect sound all over to the point where like our announcers can't hear anything. And then, but also like everyone's up close, everyone's got to, can reach out and touch a wrestler. And then you have like the beauty of the space, which is the chandeliers like all over the place. It really like the production team now that we're gonna go, we are going live on YouTube. It's
Oh,
still a little rough, yep, but we didn't want to make a big announcement last month when we did it because it's still, there's a lot to get right, and kudos to
yeah.
anyone who's doing it right, because it's not just turning on a camera and plugging it in. But yeah, like our goal now on production is to try to capture the energy in the room, the noise in the room, and balance all of that. So, and then the beauty of just like the space, so that anyone watching from home could say like, that's a cool space. Like that it deserves to be, a premier like venue for professional wrestling here in Atlanta. I know it's got it's not meant to be a venue for theater or sports or anything like that, but it's really perfect. And the folks there are freaking lovely. I think I rearranged the seats on them 3 times before the show last month, and they were done with me. But in our call afterwards, they're like, "Okay, we happy with the seating arrangement?" I'm like, "Yes, we're leaving it where it's perfect." So they've gone through a lot, but they're seeing that like they're changing their business model too. Like they're like, we need hot dogs and hamburgers and popcorn and
Yep.
cookies for kids. Like we need to, they're so I think they're seeing that like they can attract new types of people to their restaurant as well. So the space is awesome. When it gets loud, it gets so loud, and seeing Lamar Diggs do multiple top rope jumps onto
Ooh,
Mims last month, and hearing the noise and seeing him like, I mean, that was a moment that I'm not going to forget.
I don't think Mims is either, if he was conscious
No,
enough to
no.
remember it. That was,
Exactly.
yeah.
Hmm.
Even my longtime wrestling buddy who
Hmm.
was beside me he just looked at me and he was like, "Is he going to be okay?" And I said, "If they find a big enough spatula and a big enough gurney, maybe, maybe." I said, but
Uh-huh.
he actually kind of with a little bit of help made it to the back on his own, which just is a test to the warrior that he is.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would almost, and what popped in my head when we were talking about the venue there is, in a way, now I never got to see the old bingo hall up where ECW was in Philadelphia,
Hmm.
but from the
Hmm.
stories I hear, it's almost like Monday Night Garage is a miniature Southern version of just what you got out of that. You just get like, you feel like you're a part of this special thing that nobody else is a part of, and that's what the live YouTube is going to do. It's not just the regular videos that you guys are putting out. When people see what they're missing,
Hmm.
they're going to want to be a part of this, because you get that whole FOMO that everybody's into now. And when you see this show, you're going to want to be there. I promise you. This was the first time I'd been to that venue, been to tons of you guys' shows. First time I'd
Yeah.
ever been to that property. And I just walked in and sat down and I went, this is going to be something. This is
Yeah.
going to be just, I wanted to see what the sound did. Like you said, when everybody goes nuts, or when it gets deathly quiet because Lamar Diggs is going to the top rope for the fifth or sixth time, And for people who
Hmm.
don't know, Lamar Diggs is as big as probably Refrigerator Perry, and he's coming off
Hmm.
the top rope onto Mims, who is about the size of Ray Lewis. They're both big guys.
Oh
But
yeah.
man, that's a lot to be falling on you. And it got so quiet, and when you could almost hear the bones rattle as he was hitting.
Yeah, and he's going over three referees who were trying to
Yes.
stop him as well. So, don't forget about that. I mean,
Ooh,
yeah, it was that was intense. And you're right, just going into the space, and I think that's why I got so just like focused on where the seating is because it's like we got to do justice to this venue. Like it's gorgeous and people are gonna like the fans are gonna love it. The wrestlers are going to look great in here. Like I want to do
yeah.
justice, and also, and speaking of which, this will be our second attempt at it going live on YouTube. Bear with us. Like it's still going to be rough, but every month we're gonna clean it up, get it better, and make sure that it's the product that on TV or on YouTube, whatever it is. It's the same. It's the product that we want to put forth and feels just as cool and fun as the live shows. And New Realm is still there. Like we're still
Yes.
planning to come back to New Realm when the weather gets good again. I think New Realm and us, we learned our lesson about like trying to push it into the colder, wetter months. And I think no one wants to do the 12-degree shows anymore. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Either water or cold is one thing, but when you put them together,
hmm.
wow. Man, it creates a unique event, but not one you want to repeat.
Yeah,
Um,
and but God bless the fans who were standing out there in the
yeah,
rain waiting for the thing to waiting for it to start and being willing and then being disappointed that like we were had to cancel. They're what? I don't want to. They sat in the rain
yeah,
for an hour in the cold rain
yeah,
for an hour in October and still wanted the show to go on. And if it wasn't for the worrying about the safety of the wrestlers, like that was, um, they would have we all would have done it. So. And I think the wrestlers wanted to do it as well. Like Nick and I
yeah.
had to say, like, nope, we're not. No, we're going home, everybody. Be
They're
safe.
like somebody has to be the unfortunate adult in the room, and I guess it's me, and I'm going to say no. Nobody is
Yeah.
going out there to play. Go back
Hmm.
that way.
That's where we need a heel. We need a heel GM, someone to come out here and just ruin the party for everybody.
If I wasn't already writing articles, it'd be fun.
That's fair.
But as somebody who helps Kennesaw hockey's men's and women's team go live um, on YouTube every home game they have, I
Hmm.
know the struggles you are having right now with that. It is never perfect. You never have any idea what your internet connection is going to be. You just try to do your best and make people realize they should be there in person and not have to fight with YouTube.
There you go. There you go. Come in person and but please, if you can't, we're
Yeah.
gonna take care of it for you and make sure it's a cool product for you to watch.
And I was looking over the card because I did not know the card announcements until I saw one of the wrestlers post a bunch of them, which is my fault for not looking because once I looked at your page, they were all over the page. Um,
Yes.
let's go over this card for this
Mhm.
weekend because um, the fact that round two of this tournament is kicking off. Round one, you guys are having a number one contenders for Naja's heavyweight belt. Najasism is your champion right now. You're
Mhm.
having a number one contenders, and the eight people that were in this are eight of, I would say, possibly the top, I don't know, 15 wrestlers in the state of Georgia. I mean, it's one of the most star-studded tournaments I've seen. I can't even compare it
Mhm.
because nobody else had a tournament like this. I mean, like you said, when Mims, who is an NWA, he's on every NWA show that if you turn into, you turn on your Roku, Big Strong Mims is on the
Mhm.
NWA at all times. And you have Vilmar Diggs and you have all the different people that are in this thing. And you're just like, my goodness, if I'm Naja, I kind of hope they eliminate each other at this point.
I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. I thought like even when I saw the bracket the first time, I looked at the bracket, I was like, no one's gonna like it's just gonna have to turn into like an 8-person elimination by
Yeah.
the end of this because like who the hell is going to lose a match like this? Everyone here is in the top of their game. We've got even having Chad Skywalker back on the roster and having him compete as well has been awesome. And but yeah, like I didn't see anyone being like getting pinned at all in this thing. Like it's just seemed like all the best competitors. And you're right, Naja is. I'm not sure how long he'll be dancing when we get to the end of this. But yeah, it's freaking great. Hunter James and Austin Towers is going to be cool. I don't think I've seen that matchup yet.
No.
So, and then Chad Skywalker, Alex Kane, like,
Yep.
yeah, these are two matchups that like I was not expecting at all, both either to see in this tournament or to see like in a ring. So, I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do.
I mean, Chad Skywalker, that ever since he has went in the Agent 003 mode about a year
Hmm.
ago, he is just riding that rocket to the top and doing so many just amazing things, and to see where he's been. And then
Hmm.
he has to face Alex Kane, former what MLW World Heavyweight Champion Alex Kane. Yeah, that guy. For people, yeah, it's the same one. The same one you saw
Hmm.
somewhere else
Hmm.
with a title belt is the same one. I mean, that's one of the matchups. And as you said, Austin Towers, who I have been very vocal in saying, including to him, which I think makes him a little uncomfortable when I say it, he is my pick to win this thing because I don't think I've seen Naja versus Austin Towers, and I very much want to see that. I don't think I've
None
ever even
singles, no.
seen them mentioned. I don't think they've been barely in the same building before outside of, at a Deep South show. But he has to face Hollywood Hunter James, who not only are people writing books about him, but oh yeah, he's one of the top acts in the Southeast as well. I mean, like you said, all 8 people that were in this tournament, I could have made an argument for why they should win the tournament and showed you how they'll make it through the bracket. And yet you're still just amazed by what they do each and every contest.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, Austin Towers has had like if you force me to put money on someone like Austin Towers like early on, would have been it. I mean, Big Strong Mims as
Yeah,
well would have been Stunt Marshall would have been like, but like
yeah,
look, I mean, at this point, I mean, Hunter James is a phenom, no doubt
yes,
about it. Like. I'm gonna watch him wrestle for a long time, and Austin Towers again. Who the heck's gonna win this match? Austin Towers is uh, seemingly insurmountable. He is a beast, and he's just having his way with Deep South in the past like what 6 months. We've
yeah.
just seen him dominate, and
He had a few hurdles, and once he got those
mhm.
hurdles out of the way, he is very hard to stop.
Yeah, and man, he cuts a mean promo. Like
Yeah,
we need to we ever like get that mic and let's test the temperature on that thing because he just lit that up.
oh yeah.
When he speaks, he's so good on the mic. I'm so impressed when he gets a chance to talk.
And for people out there who are unfamiliar with me or this show or the guests we've had on, I am not picking favorites. Like I said, since the beginning, I've said Austin Towers, but him and Hunter have both been guests on this very show, sitting right over
Hmm.
there where Marty is right now. So I am not picking one over the other. I'm just telling you who the favorite was at the beginning. Like I said, if I'm Naja, I don't want to see either of these four because it's probably going to be a tough night at the office.
Hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, that's going to be a great show. Shoot Taylor's coming back where we haven't
Yeah,
seen him since the Das Barbecue days. So we're pumped to see him uh, versus Duncan. Man, that Duncan has been fantastic and insane. And that's been like the insane, like seeing him come out as Scrooge McDuncan in. Did you see the Christmas show?
yeah. I saw the video of it. I think, yeah,
Hmm. That was a trip. And then
well, and
DJ
he's a
Smoke.
legit black belt. Like people don't
Yeah.
realize, like
No.
that's
Yeah.
not a gimmick for him. He is a legit, at least one time black belt. It might be two. I can't
Hmm.
remember, but Duncan is a legit, like tough guy. And then you add, like you said, you add the character work, and just when you see the parts of his personality come out, you're like, you
Hmm.
know, if I'm Naja, I'm glad he wasn't in the tournament.
Hmm. Hmm. I think would he take a spine buster on Legos as well in that match?
He did.
Yep.
Ooh,
So God bless him.
yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of just people I love to see in the ring, Stunt Marshall is facing off against DJ Smoke. They've they've got some serious work
Yes.
to do together. That went sour quickly, and man, Stunt is just he's on a level right now. He's just fantastic to see him work. He's a wonderful human being as well, just outside the ring, just like cracks so many jokes, and he's just a
Oh
fun
yeah.
guy to be around. The kids, my kids love him. Everyone just like wants to see Stunt Marshall like as many times as possible.
Oh yeah, and not to discount DJ Smoke because he's another one of those young phenom guys that just for some reason
Hmm.
if you don't know who he is, it's because you haven't seen him perform. He goes out and lights it up everywhere he goes, and I hate that they had this falling out. I think once they iron out their differences and hopefully stay at opposite ends of the room because they don't need to be near each other, once they
Hmm.
iron that out, you're going to see both of them just bloom and blossom. I mean, Stunt could easily be a heavyweight contender. Smoke could
Absolutely.
definitely be, but Smoke is just going to light anybody up. And I will say this to the fans: if you ever thought you just want to watch a wrestling show, then I implore you stay near the back of the room. If you thought you want to be a part of a wrestling show, either voluntarily or involuntarily, if it's not nailed down, and maybe if it is, when these two go at it this Sunday, they're
Hmm.
probably going to pick it up and use it on the other one. There is no telling the ends of the earth they are going to go to try to beat each other up. And if you're at ringside, there's a good chance you're going to be part of the action.
That's a both a good promo for it and also a good warning for folks.
Yes,
But get there early because folks are gonna grab those seats up front for sure. But one
absolutely.
of the another thing what I've loved about Monday Night Garage is we have our little kids, yeah, not little kids, but we have a kids section right
Yeah,
there by the ring entrance, and that's been a lot of fun to watch. To watch people just sort of like, hey kid, send their kids over there. They sit
yep.
down, have some beers, and then their kid goes and just like screams their face off for 2 hours.
It's a wrestling show. So I say let's keep it non-political and let's keep it as PG or PG-13 as possible. But it's just like hockey. Hockey and pro wrestling, you can
Mhm.
yell anything you want. You can cheer or boo
Yeah.
anything you want, and it's okay.
Hmm. Yeah, being able to boo another team, we can't do that. No one lets you do that in sports anymore. But now, pro wrestling, hell yeah, let them know what you think.
You can
Hmm.
boo both people if you want to, or cheer both people if you want.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, cheering both people, Jacob Johnson and Big Strong Mims, two just beefcakes. Uh, yeah, good luck picking a winner there. Um, that's gonna be massive. And then yeah, Naja has his open challenge. And
Yep.
do you remember the rules for his open challenge?
Uh, Partially. I'm going to try to get through those right now because I ran into him recently, and I saw him at the book signing, the same one we were both
Yep.
at, and
Hmm.
I asked him to clarify them. It has to be somebody not in the tournament, so none of the 8 people that are in the tournament, which
Hmm.
I think almost all of them are involved in another match here anyway. But you couldn't be in the tournament, and I think it's somebody that he's never wrestled before or never wrestled in Deep South before.
Deep
I think
South.
that was the two caveats,
Right. Right. And
which
Naja's wrestled a
opens
lot
up.
of
I
people.
know some people that were trying to line it up and their schedules couldn't quite make it, so maybe on another
Hmm.
one down the road. But you kind of have to be careful if you're Naja. I know he wanted to be a fighting champion, but you're kind of opening Pandora's box of a who's who that can show up and might take it off of you before you get a chance to face the winner of that tournament.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea who it's going to be. And I so
I
I'm
made him
I'm looking
promise not
forward
to
to the
tell me,
surprise. Okay, good, good. Yeah, same here, same
but
here. I
I
want
think
to.
he doesn't know either.
Mhm.
Like the bookmaker is not telling him anything. That's what
Right.
he told me at the book signing. He said, look, they're not telling me at all, so I'm going to come out to the ring and then somebody's music's going to hit and I'm going to decide if I need to run for a while or if I need to hide or if I
Hmm.
just need to take this. He goes, I don't know. He goes, I only know the caveat. So somebody's gonna come through the curtain, and that's who I'm gonna face.
Hmm. Hmm. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, and who knows? This could be a number one contender for whoever that might be's title, right? Like this is I'm
Yeah,
trying not to say that like the winner gets to face Naja, so the winner gets to face the champion.
yeah, yeah. That's something I had to correct. some other people before. I said this tournament
Mhm.
is not for the right to take on Narcissism. It's for the right to take on whoever the incumbent champion is at that point.
Right, right. So, yeah, it's going to be a killer show. I think we're gonna, hopefully blow the roof off again in there, and just, give all these performers a chance to just like put on their best show in front of a rowdy and raucous crowd of
Yeah,
new fans and old fans together.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we would be remiss if we do not talk about the show next Saturday, the day
Yeah.
before the Georgia Wrestling History Awards. By the way, got to give my plug out for that. If you guys want to come
No,
join us for
absolutely.
the awards night, it is out in it. Yeah, it changed venues. What it is at the is it
It's
at
at
the Wild Wing or something
no,
in
it's at
Alpharetta?
wait, that's no, wait, yours or Georgia Wrestling History?
Georgia Wrestling History, yeah.
That's in a bar,
Uh,
a tavern called. Oh man, I'm sorry, I got it written down
oh
right
no, no,
here.
it was a wing place. I think it changed. I am going through. Unfortunately, we do not record live or Wild Wings in Alpharetta
Oh, it's a Wild
is what
Wings.
I'm being told. Yes, it is going to be at Wild Wings in Alpharetta on a week from this Sunday, 5
Hmm.
p.m. I think there's going to be a red carpet at like 4:30. So definitely show up and see your favorite wrestlers dressed even more crazy and awesome than they do when they're in the ring, and
Hmm.
a night to just honor everybody in the business. But the night
Yep.
before that at Create ATL, if I am not
Yep.
mistaken, there,
That's it.
6 p.m. bell time there. You guys are doing a fantastic thing. You are doing kind of a throwback show, but you're doing kind of more of a honoring the past type show, right? And kind of tell people a little more about
Yeah. So we're calling it Legacy Night, and
it. Good.
this came up when I sort of we got connected to a couple people almost at the same time. So one
Mm-hmm.
was Allison Lemiller,
Yep.
reached out about like she said she was about to publish this book about Hunter James, and wanted to know if we were interested in hearing more about it. And then there was I think over the summer we were being interviewed by one of the TV stations in Atlanta, and
Yep.
I passed I passed the reporter to Hunter. I said, Hunter, like, can you talk to the reporter? Like, just let her know I got to go do something. He's like, oh yeah, I'm good. I can talk to the reporters. Like, they're writing a book about me, and I'm like, sure, okay, okay. Well, if they're
Turns out
writing
he
a
was
book
right.
about you, then yeah, go ahead and talk to this reporter, man. And then lo and behold, they are writing a book about him, and I look like a jerk. I didn't tease him, but I thought that in my head. But anyway, the point is, she reached out uh, and she sent me an advanced copy of the book, which I read, and it's freaking cool as hell. And then at the same
Mhm.
time, Melody Carras reached out to me, and she
Yes.
is the granddaughter of Ivan Koloff, and she asked like, is there anything that like we would want to do to work with her to like basically like get her grandfather's legacy back in sort of the conversation.
Yes.
He's been, I think a lot of people know of his name, a lot of people definitely know of his gimmick. And but like they want to know. I think the family wants to share just like this beautiful person that he is or that he was,
Yes.
and that and that so many knew him as. I saw an interview with Arn Anderson, and he called Ivan like the sweetest man he has ever met in his life. And I'm like, holy cow, that is a
Wow.
compliment. Like the sweetest man I've ever met in my life, and that's Ivan Koloff. So I've just been watching a lot of Ivan Koloff stuff recently, getting to know more about him. And so when those two, had reached out like about a month apart, I was like, this is cool. Like this is these are people that like we want to hear from, and we want to like it's not just like let's promote a book and let's sell some Koloff merch. It was like let's get them in a room to just share their opinions about
Hmm.
wrestling, share their stories, and get their perspectives. And again, these are not wrestlers. These are not necessarily legends. These are people who are connected to wrestling, one way or another. And that's and then on top of that, Nick reached out and to Teddy Long, and now Teddy Long's a part of this as well. And so we have our legend who's been in the business for years. And then if we can get Nick in there, we're planning to have Nick there if he can make it as well.
Yep.
And then Naja is willing to be the voice in the room of the current worker. So we've got these five folks, and what we decided to do is just put them together as like a panel discussion. And I know that's like panel discussions and pro wrestling don't normally go together, but you know what?
But
It's going with
I
our
think this
with
will
our
work.
if you build it, they will come idea.
Yep.
Like, and we think that Deep South has this legacy in the state of Georgia, and it's something that we want to lean into. Not just so it's not just about like running a monthly wrestling show and showing these new folks like men and women beating the crap out of each other. It's also about letting them know why this industry exists, where it came from,
Mhm.
who are the human beings who worked in this, not just like the characters and not just like the folks you see pictures of in books,
Mhm.
but like who are these humans who were and who are going through their lives to put on this very strange but like addictive and engaging art form. So we're trying to like keep feet in both worlds, both like
Yeah.
the culture of art and storytelling, and then also the culture of professional wrestling. And so what all this is, a very long way to say, um, we're gonna run I think like a four-match card. It's a small venue, like Create ATL. This is our first time trying something in that venue. It's like traditionally like a co-working cult like a community space.
Hmm.
Um, but it's gonna be small and cramped again. We're gonna make it feel like an old-timey night at the wrestling show, and we're going to have four shows. It's going to be sort of like we're going to have an eight-man elimination tag team. So that's sort of like our throwback to like the old six-man
Yep.
tags, right? We're going to try to that. We're going to have a contemporary showcase. So that's going to be Naja's going to be a part of the contemporary showcase. And then we're sort of trying to round it out. We're honoring Ivan Koloff. I think we'd be remiss if there isn't a chain
Hmm.
involved in something. So I would
Yep.
say look forward to a chain being involved in some way. And if however that might work itself out, like I hope we can get some chains in there. So we want to have this mix of matches that are going to get the conversation going about like again what wrestling used to be, what wrestling's like now, and then also like what we have to look forward to both in on the independent scene and also up above us. So that's Legacy Night.
Absolutely.
It's something that we have no idea how it's going to work and whether it's going to work, but like we have incredible performers and a really intelligent cast and a panelist cast of panelists, and
Yes.
we're going to have the wrestling matches. We're going to interview the panelists. We're going to open up to questions and maybe have like a cocktail hour afterwards just to like meet everyone up close,
Yep.
and then roll straight into Georgia Wrestling History Awards the next day.
Yep. It is two jam-packed weekend.
Absolutely.
Ridiculously busy on my side. I know ridiculously
Mhm.
busy on your side. And yeah, you
Mhm.
mentioned this legacy night even before it really had legs or anything, like late last year. And from the time you mentioned it, I just went, this might be really great. And you're like, yeah, we're thinking about doing a panel. And I was like, nobody's doing this. This could be great because, like you're saying,
Mhm.
it's kind of what Allison's book does a little bit. It puts you behind the curtain a little bit, and it
Mhm.
does fill in some of the gaps where instead of just I go to this thing because it entertains me. Well, why does it entertain you? And
Yes.
where did it come from? How did it evolve to this? And
Mhm.
when people start to learn and giving somebody the opportunity to ask somebody in pro wrestling anything off the top of their head, this thing could really go anywhere about it. And to hear what these people are going to say from each unique place of the world that they're from, it's like it's a can't miss. I mean, I know I have already reserved my spot there. I had friends that were like, "You better drag me along with you," which
Mhm.
we will talk about after the show. But yeah, it's something so unique that you've seen people do maybe panels here and there, and you've seen people maybe try to do a call back to the past with like a match or two here, but to do one big event like this, I think it's fantastic, and I feel like it's not going to be the only one we see.
I hope not. I hope we can make this a regular thing, find maybe a different, a different, different folks to focus on every year. I would love to keep
Yeah,
doing this and keep sharing. I think that's a great point. Like, why do like talking about why do you like this? What is it that makes this entertainment form just so engaging and it has been engaging for 100 years or more. Like
yeah,
it's you and I like we consume so much wrestling media that like I think we take, I mean, I'm assuming you do, but I think we probably take for granted how little the world knows about the history of pro wrestling and what makes it so special. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's been fun from coming up with the idea to like just now suddenly we are a week away and
yeah.
I got so much to do to prepare. I got so much
I
to
always
do, but
tell
it's going to
people
happen one way or another.
exactly. I always tell people that here locally at Georgia, obviously we have the Six Flags theme park. Most people are familiar with that if you're at least watching this show. And one of my favorite rides was always Monster Plantation. I have heard they have recently changed it. I have not been on it since they've changed it.
Hmm.
They said they have upped the intensity of it. I may be good just hearing about it from here on out. But
Hmm.
but I always accustom it to you've been waiting in line all this time. You kind of know what you think you're getting into, and then you sit down in that little boat. They pop the bar down, those doors open, and now you're strapped in for the show, and you get to see what happens. And that's just what pro wrestling kind of does. You can kind of have an idea, even if you
Yeah.
know all the matches on the card, like we just told you. You still have no idea what could happen. I just told you the people that are booked to be there. It's
Hmm.
a pro wrestling show. There's always extra people, and there's always people that miss flights, and weird things happen, and their mom gets sick, and things happen. It's these are human beings, so you tune in because you just never know what's going to happen, and
Right.
that's part of the mystique of it, and the fact that they can story tell. And I think to tie it back into what we said at the very beginning, what makes wrestling so unique is that almost anywhere else, you are a spectator, and there's a particular way you are supposed to act as a spectator. In pro
Hmm.
wrestling, you are a part of the show. You are very much as much of the show as the performers are. It's, almost a carnival like aspect, which is where it all kind of centered around, but it's better than a carnival because you really can be a part of the show and feel like you're helping tell this story. And, between Legacy Night and Crimson Mask this weekend, I feel like you got to go to these shows because you will feel like a part of these stories everybody's trying to tell.
You said it as better than I could, Jeremy. Thank you. Thanks for putting it that way. That was perfect. I fully agree and co-sign all of that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to let you back to your night. It is a little late on a Tuesday on a school night, so I know we are
Is a
all
school
trying
night.
to get
Hey,
everything going.
here
But
drinking my white wine like a heel over here. It hit me once I saw myself on camera. I was like, this guy looks like a heel and a half over here drinking white wine on his wrestling show. But look, if it, so be it. That's me. But yeah, it is late. It's a Tuesday night, but well,
it
when we're
is,
recording this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure by the time this actually posted, it might be Wednesday morning. Who knows? I'm a little bit of a night owl. But Marty, it has been fantastic to actually get to sit down and do these. We have little chats all the time, but
Hmm.
that is, I mean, truth be told, just my actual shoot answer to that is part of, I started coming to Deep South shows because people that were a part of the show told me to come check it out. I keep coming back because of how great each show is, and it's not because you're sitting here. I say this away from the cameras and everything else, and every show that I go to is unique and does something just completely different in a great way than everybody else. And there, to me, there's nobody that tells stories and does the things like Deep South does. And you guys would be remiss if we do not see you at the Monday Night Garage this Sunday or next Saturday. If you can find your way onto the guest list for Create ATL for Legacy Night there, or if not, they'll find a way to broadcast it. You'll see what you missed, and you'll say, "I don't need to miss the next one." But
100%.
what kind of do you kind of have a parting message or anything for the fans out there?
Oh, good question. I should have thought of that ahead of time. I think what I want to what I do want to like just nail down is just like and to sort of like thank you for all this is there are a lot of great people in and around this industry, and that's also where free for all comes from. You know, beyond the free shows, um, what I've found is whatever idea of the wrestling fan used to be, and I will fully admit that like my idea of the wrestling fan was pretty, you know, pretty conservative. Like my like not the people were conservative, but the idea was it was like a very small niche of people who, you know, looked or sounded or talked or acted the same as, you know, in a similar way. And I regret having thought of wrestling fans as some, you know, sequestered monolith. And really, it's there are a lot of freaking nice people.
Yes,
There are a lot of people who just want to have fun, who just want to perform, whether they have, you know, whether they're ripped or whether they're chubby or whether they're old or young or anywhere in between all of these things. They want to be in the ring performing, and there are so many of us that want to be in the crowd cheering. And now I'm learning there are so many of us who want to be around that, helping to promote it and helping to share these stories, both the fan side and the performer side, with the rest of the world. And you know, I think the theme we keep coming back to that we've mentioned a couple times in the show, and that I'm reminded of every time we hold a show, is just like there are so many nice people who just are looking for a fun way to spend a few hours. And I'm so glad that when people come up and say something, I'm so glad that you came up and said something, and uh, to me, and it want to include me in this. Like it's just great. Like it's so much of, you know, my life has changed significantly. My two boys, like their lives have changed so much. They've gotten to know the folks in the industry, and you know, this is not the monolith that I grew up thinking it was. And I'm so glad that we are a diverse group of people who share, you know, something very human in common, and that is just wanting to be entertained and to entertain each other and just have a laugh and a cheer and a boo at all at the same time. So thank you for being a wrestling fan. Thank you for having me on and doing what you do, Jeremy. And I'm so happy. I'm looking forward to honoring the folks who put their lives into this at the Georgia Wrestling History Awards. So that's it.
absolutely, and
All those things. Those are my final thoughts.
absolutely, and not just the history awards. If you guys can't make those, Legacy Night, I think like you said, Crimson Mass this Sunday,
Mhm.
or if you're not near, if you're not near those shows, there are other shows all around the state. I promise you, wherever you're at, possibly in the world, if you're anywhere in the U.S., for sure there is one within an hour of you. I implore
Mhm.
you, just go give it a shot. Go, like you said, just it's that 2 or 3 hours where it doesn't matter what's happening outside the building. You get to be a part of something and feel like you're helping tell some sort of story. And like you said, it's that extra little break sometimes if you need that. It doesn't matter what's happening outside of there. I'll deal with that in 2 hours after I see why that guy and that guy want to punch each other in the mouth.
Yep. That's it. That's it. That's what keeps us coming back.
Absolutely. But like I said, it was fantastic having you on the show. I appreciate all that you do as well, and look forward to seeing you many times in the next couple of weeks. But for everybody here at Impact Media and, of course, at Strong Style, I am Jeremy the Impact York. He is Marty Buccafusco, getting really good at doing that now.
Yep.
We will see you guys next time. Deuces, gooses, go watch wrestling.